My fellow summoners, today we step into this alliance war with a team built not just on power, but on purpose. Odin, the great protector, Omega Sentinel, the tactician, and Spider-Woman, the one who thrives in the shadows, but never loses her light. Together they are our coalition of strength. Now our first battle begins, Spider-Woman versus Gorr on Node 6. Arrogance and Power Thief. Gorr thinks he can hide behind mismechanics, but Spider-Woman doesn't blink. She cuts through the trickery, counters every attempt, and shows us that patience and precision win the day. It's a tricky setup. Gorr stacks pressure fast, and Arrogance punishes mistakes with falter. But Spider-Woman brings something special, her Ensnare debuff. When it lands, it shuts off falter entirely, keeping her combos flowing clean. She keeps the pressure steady. Every parry timed, every dash-in measured. When Power Thief threatens to drain her, she doesn't panic. She comes in with the right mastery setup, Resonate, Despair, and Inequity, all working in her favor. Resonate ensures a steady flow of weakness debuffs. Inequity lowers Gorr's attack with every debuff stack, cutting his damage down. And Despair? That turns every debuff she applies into a weapon, shutting down his healing, denying him any chance to recover. With Masteries amplifying her control, Spider-Woman layers debuffs faster and faster. Weakness, Ensnare, Poison, each one tightening the noose. Gorr's offense shrinks, his healing shuts off, and his falter never even appears. And folks, I'll tell you something. After a clean win like that, I'd usually stop for a scoop of chocolate chip ice cream. Been my favorite since I was a kid in Delaware. And reminds me that even when the fight looks tough, the simple joys can carry you through. Here's the deal, folks. We've got Omega Sentinel taking on Ebony Maw, Node 15, spinning wheels with exhaustion, dirty work and play. Looks messy on paper, but Omega Sentinel, she's built for this. Now, Maw's got that falter, those pesky power steals, and he wants to throw you off rhythm. But Omega Sentinel says, come on, man, I've got counters for days. She locks in her debuffs early. Track it here, heal block, incinerate, cowardice, all applied with surgical precision. Now, Maw, he's built on nullify, wants to strip your buffs, shut you down. But Omega Sentinel, she's immune, doesn't even flinch. And let me tell you, it's like chocolate ice cream. You take a scoop, no matter the heat, no matter the summer sun, it's still sweet, still solid, still reliable. Just like Omega Sentinel's immunity. Maw can't melt it away. You know, people, that was something special. Omega Sentinel showing us what steady work looks like, nullify immunity, clean play, nothing wasted. Reminds me of those Amtrak rides I used to take every day. The rhythm, the dependability, you could set your watch to it. But wars aren't won with just one fight. Every matchup matters. And now we turn to the next challenge. This one's closer, more personal. It's about patience, timing, and trust. And I'll tell you, it's a lot like family. You sit at the dinner table, kids all talking over each other, grandkids climbing around. You got to find your rhythm, keep it steady, bring it back to order. That's what we're walking into next. Folks, let me tell you, this next one isn't simple. Spider-Woman against Prowler on Node 24. Daunting Doom, Fisticuffs, SSStylish, critical setup. A lot of moving parts here. Once the window opens, though, she gets to work. Debuffs start layering, and every debuff matters here because with Inequity and Despair in the background, Prowler's offense gets weaker and his willpower doesn't stand a chance. And yet, there are still people that think Count Nefarious is the best science. Come on, people. This is not rocket science. Midway through, Spider-Woman shows her poise and control. She keeps her cool. Finally, with the rhythm on her side, she pushes to her special 2. But Prowler's mechanics, that's what makes him dangerous. Prowler stacks those passive furies, and if you give him space, he'll run wild. Spider-Woman's solution? Stay close. Control the tempo. No room for him to build momentum. Let the power stings do the work. It reminds me of family dinners back in Delaware. Kids talking over each other, grandkids climbing everywhere, chaos at the table, but someone always brings it back together. Spider-Woman did the same thing here. Took the chaos, steadied it, brought it home. Now look, that was composure. Spider-Woman took Prowler's chaos and turned it into order, just like keeping peace at the family table. But wars aren't won on calm alone. The next one, it's a fight where every mistake gets punished and excuses don't mean a thing. And I'll tell you, this reminds me of growing up in Scranton, playing ball in the sandlots. You get a pitcher who thought he could sneak a curveball past you. Maybe it worked once. But if you read it right, if you stayed sharp, you'd send it flying. That's what comes next. Reading the play, staying sharp, proving control. Let me be clear, this is no easy node. Captain Britain's buffed, she's dangerous, and node 33 is built to punish mistakes. Now here's the key, folks. When Omega Sentinel places her debuffs tracking, heal, block, cowardice, she triggers Neuroshocks. And her natural energy resistance, it cuts that feedback damage down. That's her advantage. But you've got to manage the conflictor timer. Unfortunately, I missed the first rotation. Place a debuff too early, and Britain gains power. Place it too late, you lose control. But never lose hope. Omega Sentinel reads the timing like a pro, lets the timer cycle, places debuffs clean, and keeps the fight on her terms. Captain Britain fires a special. Prowess Puncture wants to cut through, but Omega Sentinel sidesteps, no chip damage taken, just clean play. Most of the damage taken in this fight has been from Neuroshocks, but we will overcome. And let me tell you something. Growing up in Scranton, we'd play ball in the sandlots. You'd see a pitcher throw the same curveball twice. He thought he was clever. But you read it, you wait, and you swing for the fences. Now there was this one kid, Petey McDaniels, always thought he could sneak a curveball past you. First one would get by, maybe. But you figured out the rhythm, waited, and next time you sent it flying. I'll never forget the look on Petey's face when I knocked one over the fence. Thought he was clever, but the trick didn't work twice. I'll never forget it. Petey standing frozen on the field, glove hanging in the air. Couldn't believe I knocked that ball clean out. But the one I really remember wasn't Petey, it was Ashley, his older sister. Senior in high school, me just a freshman. She was confident and beautiful, the older girl every kid noticed. And when I hit that home run, she didn't cheer like everybody else. She leaned back in the bleachers, gave me this slow clap, this sly smile. The kind of smile that made you feel 10 feet taller, maybe a little red in the face. And folks, that's what stuck with me. Because sometimes it's not about the noise in the stands. Sometimes it's just one person, someone you looked up to, someone out of your league giving you that nod, that grin that says, kid, maybe you're better than you think. And that's what war is about too, belief, confidence, holding steady when the odds say you shouldn't win and proving them wrong anyway. Now we carry that belief into the next fight, a fight where resilience and composure will carry us through. Oh wait, the fight. Spider, woman's in control here, folks. So, yeah, I might have lost track for a minute there. But here's the deal, folks. Whether it's a ball field in Scranton or a fight against America Chavez, the lesson's the same. You keep your composure, you believe, and you come out on top. All right, folks, I've got a level with you here. This one, I played it reckless. Omega Sentinel against Apocalypse, node 47, false confidence, missing in action, fight or flight. On paper, manageable. In practice, well, let's just say I didn't exactly play it safe. Now, false confidence, that node, gives you a false sense of security. You think you've got control until suddenly you don't, missing in action. That falter creeps up waiting to make you whiff. And fight or flight is all about spacing. And if you're not on it, the defender runs wild. And I'll admit it, I got greedy. Tried to keep pressure up instead of backing off. Pushed too hard in the fight or flight. Almost ate a hit. But Omega Sentinel held steady. Her resistances, her debuffs, her control. She carried the fight even when I slipped. My fellow summoners, we've walked through this war together. Spider-Woman cutting through Gorr, standing tall against America, Chavez, Omega Sentinel controlling Ebony Maw, outlasting Captain Britain, and even holding firm against Apocalypse. Now, the war isn't over yet. The clock's still ticking. The board's still moving. But make no mistake, the win is secure. The groundwork has been laid, the fights have been fought, and the path to victory is clear. And I'll tell you folks, that's what this game, this war, and this life are about. Not perfection, not always playing it safe, but believing, stepping up, and finding your moment when it counts. So to my alliance, to every summoner watching, stand proud tonight, because this one's in the bag, and tomorrow we'll be ready to do it again.